Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have in the studio with us today Dr. Chris Warren, Associate Professor of Digital Composition and Sound Design for San Diego State University. Go Aztecs. How you doing there, Chris?
Wonderful. It's great to be here with you, Drew. I love your studio.
Yeah, very, very good. I take no credit for it because if it looks good, obviously they kept me away from it. Yeah, the folks at Mission Fed did a really nice job. They became the sponsor of my show, I think a couple of years ago, and did a nice job here. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. She is celebrating your 10th anniversary, but the organization's 20th.
11, but who's counting? And 11. Yes, 20 years.
I am counting.
The organization has been around, yeah.
Why don't you get started with a question for Chris?
Let's do it. So let's just kind of talk about the mission of what you do.
Hey, so I love reverberation.
Don't we all?
I'm a sound nerd, and reverb is the spice that makes everything sound great. So I've been on a mission for the last 10 years. I've been going around North America collecting excellent reverbs wherever I can find them, from Anchorage to Havana, from Montreal to Cabo. Wherever I can find a nice, rich resonance, I take my backpack full of microphones and speakers, set things up, and capture the acoustic response of this space so we can turn it into a digital reverberator and share it worldwide.
Okay, let's go back in time. How did you become obsessed with reverberation?
So I've been a musician and a recording engineer for a long time. And at one point, I had the wonderful opportunity to go be a grad student at this program called CARMA, the Center for Computer Research in Music and Acoustics at Stanford. And while I was there, I met this fascinating dude, John Abel. This guy knows more about reverb than probably any human who's ever existed. And he showed me a whole bunch of ways of taking the physical world and turning it into digital reverberators. And that blew my mind.
So how would you define reverb? Is it sound? What is the exact definition of reverb?
So people ask me all the time, what's the difference between reverb and echo?
Right.
And so echo is like looking at yourself in a mirror.
Okay.
A flat surface will reflect sound back at you that is pretty much what you sent to it. Echo, echo, echo. Right?
Got it.
But now imagine looking at yourself instead of in a mirror, in a disco ball. These contours make a whole bunch of different little images of you. They kind of diffract. And so when you're in a space that has some great contour to it, think a cave or a cathedral, it really takes the sound and churns it nicely. It resonates because it's trapped in there. There's no place for the sound to exit. So it just bounces around and makes a lovely richness.
Right. So what is Echo Thief?
So Echo Thief is the software that I created as part of my PhD dissertation at UCSD to make it possible to capture reverb even in incredibly noisy spaces. Usually, most reverb that's captured from the real world is churches and concert halls and recording studios, places that are unnaturally quiet. So it's very easy to do a measurement. And so Echo Thief is my method of capturing reverb even in loud spaces, underpasses under the 5 that are rich and resonant, but that are going to have traffic going over them 24/7 until the heat death of the universe.
How do you call out the ambient noise?
So
that's your patent, and you'll have to sit there and go through him on that.
Basically, I set up a speaker and a microphone, and I play this sound that sounds kind of like white noise, think static, that's about 30 seconds in length. And I take that recording back to my laboratory and drop it in my computer, and I turn that 30 seconds into an instant. And by collapsing time, I can make a crazy good signal-to-noise ratio and make a nice clean reverb, even in a loud space.
Right, we're talking to Dr. Chris Warren, Associate Professor of Digital Composition and Sound Design for San Diego State University. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, just doing great things in San Diego County, whether it's literacy, food insecurity, art, music, sound, you name it, are doing great things. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. Kristen.
So where is one of like the most amazing places you've captured reverb? Like either maybe the space itself or what you captured. I don't care which.
Let me tell you about the charcoal kilns.
Yes, please.
Valley.
Okay.
So up in the mountains, in the highest part of Death Valley, like over 7,000 feet in altitude, there is a set of 10 25-foot tall charcoal kilns, these big stone round buildings. They look kind of like an igloo, a single entrance. And when you walk inside them, each one is incredibly resonant because these things were built almost 150 years ago and almost immediately abandoned. They were made to do smelting in the mines, and a new technique was developed or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what, but they didn't need charcoal anymore. And so they abandoned these kilns. And because they're so remote, I mean, they're like 6 hours from here. They're like 3 hours into Death Valley itself. Wow. They're kind of hard to get to.
Yeah.
And so they're immaculate. They're perfect there. And when you walk inside, sounds ring like a bell. They're beautiful.
Very cool.
So you've recorded this, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. And so with that recording, besides it's just good to listen to, what else do you use it for?
So we can make any other recording sound like it was recorded in this measured space.
Okay.
So rather than having to trek 6 hours into Death Valley, you can do this in your bedroom. And now at SDSU, we've created a Sound Lab, a place where we can make augmented reality in the sonic domain, and we can take these reverberations and bring them to life.
Right, exactly. And now, will they be used for any commercial purposes, or is it just for enjoyment, or somewhere in between?
So this Echo Thief library has been licensed. It's been used worldwide by musicians creating sonic art. It's been incorporated into many AAA video game titles, Wolfenstein 2: A New Colossus, Days Gone, and they really help bring out the richness and vibrance of especially something like Days Gone, a big open world zombie killer game, in order to make it really feel unique and rich and feel like you're actually in the place. These reverbs are built in. So when you go under a bridge, it's Echo Bridge in Newton, Massachusetts, which has this great resonance to it.
Yeah, so we're going to see if I can get my producer, Brandon Joe. Do you want to come on and talk a little bit about the zombie game at all, Brandon? He's not quite sure over here. Brandon's being unusually shy. Usually he shares the mic with me over here. I want you to think about it, and maybe at a break we'll have you come back on and talk about that. He gets the zombie game. Brandon not only produces the Spotlight show, he has his own nonprofit as well. He's an entrepreneur, and he is a junior at UCSD. So you got some connections at this.
Alma mater.
Right? Exactly. Very good on this. So talk about the new Sound Lab. It just started, January this year?
Yeah, so we've recently opened, and this is a experience like no other. It is approximately a 6-meter cube that is nearly anechoic. When you walk in it and clap, that's it. No reverb. And the reason that there's no reverb in this space is so that we can generate it all artificially. And to do this, we have a giant truss that holds up 12 speakers, a Dolby Atmos 8.1.4 immersive sound system that makes a full unified sound field above the ground plate. It's a treasure to listen to, and I hope you'll come and take a listen.
No, I think that sounds fantastic. So the students that take your course, so to speak, is there a course called Sound Lab? What are the students majoring in when they see you?
So I have a joint appointment here at SDSU where I work in the School of Music and Dance and the School of Theater, Television, and Film.
Sure.
So we have musicians and filmmakers who come into the lab as part of their education.
Gotcha.
And we can, with the filmmakers, mix in immersive Dolby Atmos. And with the musicians, well, let me tell you, every musician cares deeply, deeply about the places that we make music because the places shape the music.
Right.
And so when a student brings their instrument into the Sound Lab, they can experience a richness of reverb like no other. It makes their eyes go like this every time.
Right. Now, do you work with the schools at all, the K-12 schools?
No, mostly I'm working with undergrads and grad students here.
But I bet, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Kristen, I guarantee there's some junior high, middle school, and high school students that would love to hear what you're doing. And
Drew's mission is to give you more work. He does it to me constantly. So by the end of the podcast, he'll have you in 6 schools and doing things you never really wanted to do. There you go.
But unlike you, Chris will actually follow through. But anyway.
Ouch. Okay.
That's okay. That's all right. But in all seriousness, a lot of the work that we do and the shows that we talk about and involve what's going on in the K-12 world, it seems like they would be very interested in this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I like the most about having a space like this for reverberation is that it's so immediate. You walk in and you make some noise and immediately you can hear the difference. It's a richness like no other. So whether you've been playing for 20 years or you just picked up an instrument, the difference in the sounds that you make is immediately apparent.
Right. We come back from break. I want to chat about something very interesting you wrote on the notes here. The sort of the intersection between the physical world and the digital world. I want to hear all about that. Also, some of the cool things you're getting, responses from people all over the world using Echo Thief and all that business. And then, where you see this going. Obviously you're a deep thinker and, I don't think I can predict what's going to happen, but who knows? Maybe this is where sound is going to go in 1 year, 1 month, 2 years. Who knows where it's going to go? And then think about, and maybe you're already going to talk about this with the physical world and the digital, how does artificial intelligence tie into this as well? I can see a sly look on Chris's face. We come back with Dr. Chris Warren, Associate Professor of Digital Composition and Sound Design at SDSU. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community show. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year. We are brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things for people living in San Diego County. Honored to have in the studio with us today Dr. Chris Warren, Associate Professor of Digital Composition and Sound Design at SDSU, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. We were going to ask Chris a question, but Kristen jumped out of her socks, and she wants to go right to another question. Fire away.
I just said at some point I would like to visit that, but we can go now. Let's go, shall we?
We're at the point.
I just flagged your white whale because
Oh, yes.
the place I'm always trying to get to is Port Townsend. So I was like, Fort Worden, that's amazing. Yeah. So talk about what's there and why you want to get there and record there.
So Fort Worden in Washington State is an abandoned coastal artillery battery that is turned into a state park.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a rich forest full of trees growing out of these abandoned concrete structures. And I have captured so many parts of this, the underground batteries, the tunnels. There are so many great reverberant spaces. It's like the video game Doom. It's beautiful. But there's one space that I was able to go to that I couldn't add to my library, and it is really my white whale. This is one of the best things I've ever heard in my life. There is a 2 million gallon cistern underground. The only way in or out is a tiny manhole and going down a wire ladder. You can only be in this place for about 15 minutes before the oxygen runs out entirely.
Wow.
And it has a 45-second reverb. Now, for reference here, most of the spaces that we're in, a concert hall is like 2.5 seconds. A parking garage might be twice that. But the longest reverb most of us experience is maybe 5 or 6 seconds. And this is 45 seconds.
Wow.
So the you of 45 seconds ago is still talking. Right? If you sing a note, it hangs in the air.
So cool.
I went there with my wife. She brought a flute, and it sounded like there were 100 people playing flutes. She was able to build these huge chords out of this single note at a time monophonic instrument. And so this was a huge inspiration for this Sound Lab. One of the things that we've done there that is very unique is I've taken all of the reverbs from this Echo Thief library and turned them into one giant reverb and then stretched it out to a minute.
So when you discovered this, did you just happen to be traveling around the Olympic Peninsula and, hey, we're going to go to, let's take a trip over here to Port Townsend and so forth? Or how did you wind up there?
So my wife went to this place for music camp as a teenager.
Okay.
And so we were visiting it with her parents. And it's impossible to access this cistern. They have a giant boulder sitting there blocking it. You cannot go in. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
But as luck would have it, my mother-in-law was a park ranger back in the day, so she knows the secret handshake. And pretty soon we were, they grabbed an earth mover, moved that boulder, and we wandered on down.
Wow. That's all it took. A little secret handshake and moves the boulder.
We got so lucky.
Wow.
Did you know that this is what you were going to be going into, this wire, ladder, so to speak? Did you know that ahead of time?
I knew that it existed. I had heard the legend of it. One of my favorite composers, Pauline Oliveros, did a whole bunch of work down there,
really
making experimental music. And it has a richness like no other.
Right.
So I had been dying to go to this space, but I didn't think it was even possible. One of the big challenges of doing something like creating this Echo Thief library is getting access to these spaces.
Right.
I've been incredibly fortunate in that a lot of folks have been really helpful in letting me capture some spaces, and park rangers are the best. I was just over on Alcatraz, and when you get off the ferry at the landing, they have about a 10-minute orientation speech where they tell you all about it. But talking with the park ranger for a quick moment right before that speech, went, he said, hey, just run up that hill. You got a 10-minute head start.
That's right. And have you been to Alcatraz?
I haven't, no.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are right in there with Al Capone and the Birdman and all that business. It's great. So great for sound there too?
Oh, yeah. The richness of this giant, heavy concrete building with all these chambers. It rings forever.
Talk about the intersection between the physical world and the digital world.
So we talk a lot about augmented reality these days, and it's a fascinating thing. And usually when you think of augmented reality, you think of putting on a headset and seeing things. But what if we did augmented reality in the sonic domain? No headset required. Just walk into the lab, and with the push of a button, we can take you from the charcoal kilns of Death Valley to maybe something completely different. Like I captured the Widowmaker, the submarine that used to be in the San Diego Harbor as part of the Maritime Museum.
Right.
The ancient decommissioned Russian sub. Now, submarines obviously have a great interest.
That's a cool sub, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I wish it were still there.
Yeah, exactly.
Submarines obviously want to stay quiet. So they have a lot of sound isolation built into them. So this was actually probably the least reverberant space I ever measured. It's so quiet. It's so claustrophobic. When you relocate your sounds into this space, it almost makes them smaller.
Right. How does the world of AI tie into what you're doing? Are you dabbling in that at all, or it's there's just no intersection, or there's a great intersection?
So one of the great things about working at SDSU is there is so much great access to some brilliant minds. And just at the end of last semester, we had a huge day-long symposium where we heard from folks from Microsoft and all over, the experts in the field talking about AI. And I'm by no means an expert in any of this, but I'm fascinated to see how we can use AI to start to bring together some of these different reverberations and extrapolate beyond this library to create new reverbs from places that physics wouldn't even support.
So how do our listeners support what you're doing? Come visit the lab, correct?
Absolutely.
What else can we do?
Go to echothief.com and you can download the whole library for free. You can use it in making music yourself, and you can go on a journey and visit all the places that I've visited. Including one of the most recent additions is this place called the Maparium in Boston. This is at the main headquarters for the Christian Science Monitor. It is a 30-foot glass globe that you can walk inside. There's a metal bridge going across it. And when you stand near the middle, it sounds like your voice is coming from behind you. Quite a marvel.
So cool.
Other questions you have, Kristen?
I don't know. I just want to go to the lab. Can we go to the lab? Can we go to the lab?
I'll get my keys.
Absolutely. I wonder, can we do a podcast from the lab?
I think it's very necessary that we do this.
Don't challenge us. We'll be there before you even know it. Any other final comments, Chris?
So here's the thing. I've created this library through the generosity of people sharing interesting spaces with me. People know of an interesting reverberation, maybe a tunnel somewhere, or an interesting space between buildings, and they drop a pin on a map and they send it to my email, cwarren@sdsu.edu. And this is how I add to my collection. So if you're hearing this and you know of somewhere interesting, please let me know.
Do you do any caves at all?
Oh, yes. Shasta Lake Caverns, the cathedral room. Oh, my goodness. It sounds so amazing.
So the only time I do spelunking is when I visit one of my favorite places in the country, and that's in Bend, Oregon. They got a whole bunch of... Have you been done any caves up there?
Yes. There's near the lava field.
100%. I've done that about 7 times. It's
cool.
It's very cool.
I think my favorite so far is about an hour east of Reading. There is this subway cave lava tube. And so this usually lava tubes, which are created by the cooling of lava, are underground and inaccessible. But this particular one has 2 cave-ins about a quarter mile apart where they put stairs so you can wander right down into this. And so there's about a quarter mile of inky blackness. It's darker than dark. You can't see anything, and I wish I had brought a brighter flashlight. But when you get to the middle, there's a part that they call the sanctum, where it just gets really, really wide. And so with that width comes a great, great sound.
No, that's all great. Well, Chris, thanks for coming in. I think you'll see Kristen and I make a trip to the Sound Lab. It's right on campus, correct?
Absolutely.
Where's it near? Is it near Love Library? Is it near what building?
It is in the new Performing Arts District.
Okay,
We have just redone our whole Performing Arts District. We have a new stage. We have a new proscenium theater all set up with grand sound.
We will make it a point on it. Thanks so much for coming in, and we're going to look forward to chatting more about this very cool Echo Thief project. Congratulations on you for developing that, and of course the SDSU Sound Lab. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. Now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 60 years, doing great things in San Diego County. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.